All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another installment for our webinar series. Today, we're going to be talking about Zero Trust, One Love, the unifying force your admins dream of. And I am joined today by Shri Koratala. She is Vice President of Product Management for Platform. So welcome, Shri.
Hello, Chris, and thank you.
And I'm Chris Louie. I'm a customer success architect here at Zscaler. And today we're going to be talking about a Zscaler Experience Center. On the agenda, we have some prerequisites of how to obtain Experience Center. We're going to talk about the common policy framework, unified analytics, and then we're going to close with the new Copilot. And I threw this one up here. I think that, a developer would make a simple UI, an intuitive UI, and then the users just decide to do whatever they want to. But trust us, we're doing our best here to make your admin's lives a lot easier. And hopefully we'll be able to get that message across today. All right, so Shri, I'm going to go ahead and build out the slide, and maybe you can tell our listeners and our viewers what's going on here.
Yes. So Zscaler is a leader in cloud security. It's been a highly innovative company, and there's been rapid introduction of new products. And in the process, we ended up developing multiple products, ZIA, ZPA, ZDX, Cloud Connector, Branch Connector, and more coming in the pipeline. And each of them sort of ended up with some different experiences, different consoles, different logins. And net is we had many consoles. While customers appreciate the separation of concern, they still would like a single pane of glass experience. So we listened to our customers and we worked on this new unified single platform experience that brings together all of the holistic end-to-end controls that we offer from Zscaler into a single, intuitive, easy to use console. So that's what we're going to talk about now in the next few minutes here.
Great. Thank you for that great introduction. And before we even get started, we have to talk a little bit about the prerequisites of how to even get there. And one of the things that you will need is your administrators will need to be enabled on Z Identity. And just in case you missed it, we did a full webinar on Z Identity. So I do recommend you view that because that will walk you through the process. And once that migration is complete, you'll be able to access our new Experience Center at this new URL here.
That's right, Chris. So one of the prerequisites is single sign-on, which is exactly what Z Identity provides. So please migrate your tenant to Z Identity. And then going forward, there's just one single URL that you would have to remember, which is zscaler.com. It doesn't matter how many clouds you're present or how many instances you have running on Zscaler Cloud. All you have to go to is console.zscaler.com, and we will figure out who you are, what cloud you need to be on, and show you the relevant data.
Perfect. And since we did mention that there are many solutions that Zscaler has developed over the years, building a true platform, these are the solutions here that are going to be covered using Experience Center. We're not going to have to read out through all of them, but just know that there are many solutions that are under Zscaler that will be covered under Experience Center.
That's right. The only thing that you have to remember going forward is for all of Zscaler services that are being offered, there is just a single user experience at console.zscaler.com. Whether you're working with your classic internet and SaaS application security or private app security, most recent Zero Trust browser, it's all managed through the single experience center.
Great. And one of the benefits of having an experience center is a common policy framework. So I'm going to switch over here and maybe you can talk a little bit about the administration, the policy framework, Shri.
Yes, we can give our audience an orientation of the new experience center combined information architecture model. So I'll share some of the thinking behind this as we built out a holistic SASE platform. We wanted to simplify how users navigate the system. How do you access various control and configure them? So if you look at the very top navigation, you just have 5 simple entries. Analytics, this is where we built out the new unified analytics. Then you have administration, policies, infrastructure, and finally logs. Now, starting with administration, administration is nothing but strictly administrative controls. So think in terms of basic account management, admin management in terms of creating your roles, RBAC permissions, Identity. This is where you would go to configure all of your external IDP as well as your user management functions like users, user groups, etc. And other basic things like alerts, backup, restore, API, endpoint config, all of those are under administration. If I move to the next major topic, which is policies. And this is essentially how Zscaler is offering you end-to-end holistic protection controls, starting with access controls. Now, access controls could span any type of access, starting with URL controls, file type control, and cloud application, SaaS application controls. For ZIA, which is traditionally in ZIA world, in this case, we're just referring to it as Internet and SaaS applications. Similarly, you'll find access controls for private applications, your firewall controls, any of your browser-based access methods, and finally ending with segmentation. This is our most recent capability for east-west segmentation in factories and IoT and OT. From there, if I move on to the next slide, which talks about the cybersecurity, this is end-to-end cyber threat protection control, starting with your inline, with your SaaS security through API, and through all any type of partner integrations. Moving on from there, as you know, Zscaler has been leading the market in terms of data protection and providing holistic data protection across every channel, whether it is inline DLP controls, SaaS CASB controls, endpoint security, and email controls. Now, one other major thing I want to highlight is as we built out this new common policy framework, we ensured that the policy resource objects that these policies actually take action upon are all grouped together. So you'll find them right where you define the policy. You'll also find the resource that are associated with those policies. And then if you have any common controls, for example, in the cybersecurity world, if I have TLS inspection, that's a common resource object, and those will find under common configurations. So hopefully this gives a big picture view of how the policy framework is laid out. And then I think we move to infrastructure. And oh, here's just another example of showcasing a detail. In this case, we're showing you the advanced threat protection under inline security controls.
Yeah, and
From
when we looked at things like access policy, you could clearly see that it's access, it's users or initiators accessing destinations, and it could be publicly accessible, it could be privately accessible. That's how we're combining everything together here in the Experience Center.
That's right. It is a single threat protection that's running through the through our cloud native security control, so it's all in one place. And then if I take us to, okay, so the other aspect in policies, which is there's really not too much of a policy control when it comes to digital experience management, but there's some basic things like how do you configure the probes and what are the remote scripts that you want to run. So there's very minimal things that we have that is policy in the front in the aspect of digital experience monitoring. Otherwise, most of digital experience management or ADX in the standalone world is all around deriving those analytics, but the minimal part can be found here. From here, let me move to the next step, which is infrastructure. So think of infrastructure as essentially how do you securely get your traffic to the Zero Trust Exchange and back? And in this case, again, covering traffic forwarding profiles and all the good stuff for internet and SaaS, for private applications. Locations is a new construct that we introduced. So as we are building this common policy framework, we are also creating simplified, unified policy objects, location being one of them, where we make it super easy for you to think of location as a location. And a location could be an IPsec GRE endpoint, it could be a branch location, or it could be a cloud workload connector location. So there's a new location inventory, and customers are loving it. We've received great feedback. And then finally, when it comes to connectors, these are essentially how are you categorizing the different type of traffic and securing it. So connectors could be how do you manage your client connector for user traffic? How do you manage your branch connector, the Zero Trust branch for your branch locations? And then how do you manage your cloud connector or Zero Trust for workloads for securing workload traffic? And then finally, you have logs. Essentially, you have all of your logs and then the log insights, as well as how do you configure your nanolog streaming services. So this essentially gives you this view uh, of the administrative policy and the infrastructure, information architecture, and experience center.
Okay, great. And on the topic of logs and data and analysis, well, That's a great segue into our unified analytics that we've not only combined the administrative capabilities of the various Zscaler products, we've also combined the analytics and the data that our administrators can see, starting with some of the analytics capabilities we have here.
Right, Chris. So with all of our wonderful platform capabilities coming under single pane of glass, we now have a fantastic opportunity in showcasing the value of the platform is delivering to our customers and how we are helping secure traffic. Now, of course, for the breadth and depth of the platform that offers, we spent quite a bit of time in terms of figuring out how do we want to classify these analytics into various groups and the categories. And this initial iteration, we've come out with networking analytics. Essentially, this tells you all traffic. And there's a lot of new interesting cues we provide out of the box. And as one example, we are showing you a map here that's only available in Experience Center where it showcases all the Zscaler data centers that are serving your enterprise. What is the traffic being handled by them and how many transactions are being managed. Similarly, if you switch tabs on that map, you will see how we are handling your private service edges, whether you're running at capacity. One of the wonderful thing is as we created these new insights, we actually spent quite a bit of time in terms of thinking through what would I, as a network administrator, for example, be wondering about every single morning. What are the top 10 things I'd like to know about? Similarly, if I'm a cyber persona, what are the top 10 things I would want to know about on an everyday basis? So these are highly curated questions, which essentially, this was yet another key design principle when we built Experience Center is understanding the personas, the type of administrators that on an everyday basis are logging into our systems and using our systems. So say, for example, you're a cybersecurity administrator, you will look at some out of the box report here on the cyber analytics that tells you how many transactions were blocked because of Zero Trust Exchange, or how many transactions got blocked because of your policy configuration. From there, you can derive if your organization is being overly restrictive or overly permissive. Or in this case, for example, I'm showing a great widget here about sandbox threats, but this essentially answers the fundamental question of how well is my organization protecting zero-day threats? And then I have another illustrative example here, which is on data protection. We just talked about how Zscaler is providing holistic data security across every single channel. We have a unified data protection dashboard, which is fantastic, that shows you the incidents that have happened across every single channel, whether it's inline or CASB or endpoint or email, along with your data security posture management, which is what I'm seeing here on the screen. So one of the key benefits is really understanding who are the administrators that are logging into the system, what are they looking for, and providing great insights right out of the box to make your everyday life easier.
And it's good that we have these the persona focused analytics flows, and then combining that with actually Z identity and things like role based access controls. I can have DLP admins only be able to see like the data protection related consoles here.
That is correct. Since we have brought all these systems together, we have unified RBAC with granular controls. You will only see what your organization has provided you as service entitlements and specific authorization permissions, whether it is read or full permissions with read write, or maybe you have read with obfuscation. So all of those controls will be enforced.
Great, perfect. All right, on to the last topic we have here. One of my favorite features of Experience Center is Copilot. So I will turn it over to you, Shri, to explain how this works.
Yes. With those fantastic unified analytics that we have newly built, we are also complementing all of that with interactive experiences. As our customer base might be very well aware of, we started this in the digital experience world where we have a ZDX Copilot. So any of you that have your ZDX advanced license have the capability to access and take advantage of Copilot for data exploration, for knowledge questions, for troubleshooting your end user experiences, and so on. So that way, that same Copilot experience is also available in Experience Center. And if you're a ZDX with this entitlement, we have a ZDX administrator with this specific entitlement, you'll be able to take advantage of it. We are, of course, continuously investing, and this Copilot will be evolved to support multiple agentic type of responses for all of the domains. So um, watch for that in the near future.
Sounds exciting. All right. So that takes us to our call to action here. So if you'd like to know more, there are a couple links that we have here on the screen. The first one is going to be a landing page with our product description and there's going to be, you'll be able to see demos, and there's going to be data sheets, and you can read all about it if you didn't learn enough already through this webinar. The second link here is for any customers that are curious about it, or if they're on it and they would like to know more about it, you can go visit our help page. Very helpful, a lot of great links there. And then lastly, if you're an existing customer and you would like to upgrade to Experience Center, there's a link here. You could also reach out to your Zscaler account team, your post-sales support team as well. We are here for you. We will help with that upgrade.
Yes, and thank you, Chris, and thanks to your audience for listening to us today.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank Shri for your time today. Hope you found this webinar interesting, and you hope you learned something new. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.